Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry, I'm talking to somebody.
warned you, asshole. Got so. You stay there.
He's trying to
Open it. Open up.
sell me on Elden Ring. Like, no. Well, thanks. Games look so slow and boring. Just don't like controlling characters that feel like they weigh so much. New moves feel pretty good.
Man.
Said the update for this is not coming out to May. No, on Facebook. Yeah, I'm not gonna play it, man. Rather just play this another 15 times and Stranger of Paradise, which comes out in less than a month. It's way more up my alley. Plus the PC port's garbage anyway. There's lots of problems with it. He's right that I'm probably not watching good players play it, but it's just not something I'm interested in. I don't know, their games are popular, but like they're not for everybody. And I like that they don't make them for everybody, because that's the problem with a lot of AAA games these days. Is they try to make it for everybody and their cat. And it's like it's not really possible to do that.
Shame, I'll have to throw you back.
It's either like they make changes and they dumb the game down, people who are gonna play it for like a day and never come back. Other things happen. That's the main thing that happens, is dumbing it down, thinking that it'll get more people to play, but then they stop after the peak.
Come on, speed this up.
The game is worse.
I don't want to
We sold more copies, but the game is worse. That's been happening a lot lately. I'm glad that they're like, you know what, fuck the tradition, we're just gonna make what we want to make. We don't care if people don't like it. I definitely appreciate that, but their games are not for me. Yeah.
Like me. How the fuck you get in here? Holy shit!
Like how it's a big deal that they're not doing a Call of Duty next year. Dude, that franchise should have taken a break years ago. They should have stopped with Call of Duty. Oh, they work those guys to death making those games. It's crazy. Like, the quality is not even consistent. That's the worst part.
Sure about that?
They have like 3 different studios making them. Have people that like one studio and they hate the others.
I'll make you pay.
It's a mess. I think if anything needs a break, it's Call of Duty and Resident Evil. Like, out of... Assassin's Creed took a break, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. They desperately needed one too. That's the thing, though, they lose to death. You get, like, Guilty Gear Strive. That's the problem. Like, the characters don't have options they used to have. It sucks. That's what's great about Battle for the Grid. You can pick that game up and play it. And not have to, like, you know, watch, like, 5-hour tutorial videos. You're still gonna get your ass kicked if you go online, yes. But... the game is easy to pick up. They did make it accessible. They didn't dumb it down in the process. That's the problem with a lot of these modern fighting games. But that game is just a cut above in terms of accessibility. Definitely did a better job than Dragon Ball FighterZ did. Although it did have a lot of the same problems at launch.
was preparing for this.
Well, Grid had really shitty launch. Couldn't block low. They got a lot better at designing the characters later on. That's like one thing about that game is Season 1 characters do feel a lot more limited than ones. But they got better at it as time went on. Hey, there we go. Everything unlocked. Nice. But yeah, I do respect FromSoft just because they don't dumb their stuff down.
Forget about it.
It takes a lot of balls to do that these days, especially with how expensive games are to make. I respect that. I don't like their games, but I like their philosophy. They're part of the reason why we still get hard games like this. I think everybody owes them something. If you like challenging, gameplay focused games. Like it or not, they're part of the reason why stuff like this still comes out. You don't have to actually like playing their games to respect that. That's my opinion on it. Their games are not for me, but I respect what they do. You can actually make something challenging and not handholdy with a strong gameplay focus. Gameplay that you can get better at and feel a lot better. We were kind of losing that for a while. They really were. Until they came along, really.
you forget how to fight?
Let's just restart that. Let's just restart. Sidetracked. I handled that very poorly. Not like it matters. I already got everything unlocked. That's all I really. Make one more try at this, and I think I'll switch games.
Forget about it. If you're not on the list, you're not getting.
Private, back off!
Yeah?
Please don't hit me. All right, let's go. Damn, he's on fire. No freaking way!
It was okay. I played the other one for about an hour just now as I've been talking to friends. It's alright. They have tag combos in the new one, so I knew I was about to hop on that. Alright, well, experience has no point anymore, which is nice.
Fuck is this mess? Okay.
Insane.
man. How you doing? How's Elden Ring? Bastard. I'm just playing the same game over and over. I'm just playing the same game over and over. Yeah, I got a donation for it. I just wanted to play this for a little bit first.
Keep your distance.
Game is crack. There's even more mods I haven't tried out yet. I might try them out tonight. Or maybe it'll be tomorrow. A lot of the mods conflict with each other, so gotta decide how you want to mess with the game.
You're not supposed to be part of tonight.
Sorry, I'm talking to somebody. Triple tasking here. I'm streaming, I'm playing the game, I'm talking to somebody, but they're going to bed, so focus on this now. A lot of my friends have been having really rough times, so trying to help them. Friends dealing with breakups and divorces and shit. Help them. I think everybody's been pretty rock bottom tier lately. Various reasons. I had the plague and everything. I'm pretty much back to normal. I don't have the random pains anymore. I can taste fine. I got over it pretty fast, all things considered. I didn't take anything for it. Just vitamins, lots of water, resting.
Not so tough after all. No freaking way. You shall not fear death. The winner becomes a king, and the loser a thief.
Your master's mind is broken. He will drag you and all the others
Shut up!
down into the abyss.
Fucking care, man.
Look around you.
I've beat this game like 10
You look
times!
so different.
Quiet!
If you didn't want to fight, why did you come this far?
You need to stop talking is what you need to do. Otherwise I'll go up there and I'll combo you to death too. Zip it! I have no cutscenes left to watch in this. It's a solved game. Cramping my style here, game. That's actually part of the speedrun for this game is knowing which dialogue option gives you the least dialogue. There's certain ones you have to take if you're like speedrunning this game seriously. Some force you into more unskippable dialogue. I chose the wrong one. Luckily I'm not speedrunning or anything, I'm just playing casual. All I really have left to do in this game is achievements and the detective board, and I figure I'm in no rush to do those really.
End of the road.
Are you
Fast enough?
Especially since they're going to be adding more to this game. See why I should
Enough
bother.
with the game.
You did say the update's not going to be until May, so that's not what people were expecting. I think people were expecting like next month or something. Must be pretty hefty. Take that long. Well, this game's kind of got a Streets 4 thing going on where it sold like way more copies than they thought, so. Pretty much what happened with Streets 4. They were not expecting that to sell like 2 million copies or whatever. By no means did they expect that people would care about a sequel to a beat-em-up that came out. There hasn't been a new game in 28 years. Actually, it was 26 years. 26 years between installments, 3 and 4. 94 to 2020. Not really a recipe for success, especially when like Sega was not making it themselves. But they pulled it off. this game's kind of in the same situation. Like, it's so, like, way more than they thought. So, probably add a lot of really cool shit to this over time. There was nothing for Streets of Rage pretty much that entire time. Just ports, and bare knuckle mobile, and like Axel was in Project X Zone. That was like it.
Everyone get into position.
That was like all that happened that entire time. There was nothing.
It was foolish of you to come here.
I'm sure they had a lot of problems.
I pity you.
What's up, Din? See all that jank you've been playing, man. You alright? You've been playing a lot of jank lately. I worry for your mental health. See that Brawlers Avenue channel? Got some hot jank on there. That Breakneck City game and, like, Guardians of the Hood and shit. You okay? I'm just fucking with you. You're scraping the bottom of the barrel. You need to do, what is that game called? I can't remember the name of that game. Raging Justice. Yeah, that's another one. Another one on your, should be on your list. I thought Speed Brawl was okay. That game was okay, but I couldn't finish it. They promised more for that game, but it never came out. They promised like they were gonna fix that game.
I know 100 ways to kill you. You should have run when she gave you the chance. You'll die now.
I don't know if the link is still there, but on their store page, like ages ago, there was like a thing saying like we didn't do the best job. We're gonna add more gear and levels and stuff. That never happened. I think the sales just weren't there. I don't remember what I hated about that game the most. I think it was mostly just the enemies. The bosses were garbage too. Just walls of hyper armor. Which one is Johnson again? I don't remember. Is it the big guy? I don't know, the first world of that game is fun. But when they started introducing the bosses and annoying enemies, it starts to really fall apart. I mean, there's lots of games like that. don't know, the problem with indie games is they have, like, ideas for, like, you know, things that break conventions and stuff, but I think one thing they all learn is that some things are the way they are for a reason. Like, a good example is, like, you know how in Mario Brothers, one of the things we take for granted in that game, that all the other good platformers copy, is that when you turn around, you do it in one frame. But there's lots of stuff like Prince of Persia and, like, Flashback and, like, the really bad Amiga games and stuff, where it's like a really big ordeal to turn around. And it makes just that one thing, it makes the character feel way worse to control. So when games like try to get around like not having those things that we figured out like 30 years ago, it tends to feel really bad. And unfortunately, a lot of indie games are trying to break the mold. Like, like some shit is the way it is for a reason. I think that must be one of the hardest things to realize about being an indie dev, I'm sure. You might have an idea of how you can do something better, but the reality is some dudes in Japan figured that shit out like 35 years ago. And you're better off just copying them. It sucks, you want to do something different, but there are definitely some things in video games that, you know, we legit figured that stuff out in the 80s. And when you try to change it, unless you do like a monumental job of it or you really think it out, it's just gonna be worse than stuff you can play on like your web browser from the NES back from like 87 or something. There's lots of indie games that are like that. They try to change stuff that some Japanese dude in an office figured out like eons ago. It's like, no, you should have kept it the way it was. But then there are indie devs that do things better than the old games. There are indie games that do things better. It goes both ways, really. Like, there are indie games that really excel at doing certain things better than the games they're inspired by. Few and far between, but there definitely are some. Yeah, exactly. Indivisible is a good example. Indivisible is a pretty jacked up game, but somebody who's a big Valkyrie Profile fan, the pacing of Indivisible is so much better. The first Valkyrie Profile is a fucking nightmare to play more than once. That game is terrible to play more than once. Because every character has like a 30-minute long unskippable backstory. They put a lot into those backstories. They're great stories, but you play that game again, it's torture. Indivisible was more focused on like, we're not gonna bother doing that. Especially because most people aren't gonna use all the characters anyway. Indivisible, the main problem with it was Mike Z was secretly a toxic asshole this entire time, and that game is nowhere near what they promised it to be. Apparently there were a lot of problems with the publisher as well. It's good for one playthrough. The balance is fucked up. Valkyrie Profile, its inspiration, is much better put together game. Every aspect of it. But it's still worth playing. Main problems with the game is people might not like the characters. They're more like anime tropey. They're nowhere near as deep as the Valkyrie profile characters, but they do, the game is a lot better to play more than once, because Valkyrie profile is one of those games that's like a single playthrough game, pretty much.
You will never escape this tower.
Even if you want to watch the backstories again, the game takes like literally half an hour to start. It's all unskippable cutscenes.
Found the target.
It's one of those games you can like experience once the first time, and then every other time it's way worse to play. Indivisible's got much more one-dimensional characters. The platforming feels relatively good. Better than it could, for sure. But the battle balance is all kinds of fucked up. The game starts hard at the beginning, and then it just gets to the point where you don't even have to play the game anymore. I heard that one of the last things they did was apparently they fixed that, but I already got all the achievements on it, so I'm like, I don't care. Just a problem I have with, like, they keep trying to fix, like, single-player, one-playthrough games. Thought it was weird that they did that with Persona 5 as well. I'm like, dude, that game is like 100 hours long, like... I can't fathom playing something like that again. Like, get it right the first time. You don't have the benefit of, like, a... you know, a beat-em-up or like a fighting game or something where like people will still be playing it months later after you try to fix it. Like, it's a single-player RPG. Like, I kind of don't care at this point, honestly. Especially when I literally got all the achievements. Like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm not going back. Yeah, Persona 5 Royal is a really weird one. It's like, that game is like 80 to 100 hours. Like, most people barely have the time to play that once. I guess it's not a problem now, because that's like the only version I buy. But, man, playing through that again, that sounds like a nightmare to me. A lot more easily digestible JRPGs out there you can do that with. Like, they did that with Tales of Vesperia, Tales of Destiny, Tales of Symphonia as well. You can get through those games pretty quickly. Indivisible is decent, but it's nowhere near what their original vision for it was. It's worth one playthrough. I enjoyed it. Stream is stuttering a bit, really. How so? See, am I dropping frames? Not dropping any frames. Let me finish this. Doesn't look that bad to me.
Welcome to the sanctuary.
Greetings. Can I help you, sir?
Yeah, they got away from Mike Z. Apparently Mike Z was a toxic asshole this whole time, and nobody knew it. Audio stutters. So the video is not stuttering? Is that what you're saying? Hold on. Almost done. Well, it makes things awkward for me because I remember at EVO 2010, either '08 or 10, I was there, and he had a like a really early build of Skullgirls. He was like a super nice guy.
Reveal the path you must truly let go.
Some people are just assholes behind the scenes. Some people are really good at hiding how bad they are, but now with social media, it's a lot harder to get away with that. People will clap back at you if you treat them like shit, which is a good thing. He hasn't said anything on social media in like years.
Come on, try harder.
He got what he deserved. Which is a shame because I really agreed with a lot of his philosophies on game design. Unfortunately, knowing what makes games more fun to play doesn't make you a better person. Just like being good at video games doesn't make you a better person. A lot of gamers don't understand that. Like, dude, I don't care how well you push buttons. Like, don't be a dickwad to people, don't be a toxic asshole. That's what really matters.
Try. I bet Sifu didn't teach you this one. Your father didn't have time to teach you this.
Damn. Almost deathless. Not really focused right now.
That's all you thought? After 8 years of training?
You were supposed to guard the talisman, not steal it.
It's the only way to save them, Sifu.
You failed to honor your oath. You are unworthy. Now leave. He who has Gong Fu and Wu De makes the other know he can break him. His hands go out like lightning, and the other doesn't want to fight anymore.
Alright. Need back out of the game. How's the sound now? Is it still messed up? Shouldn't be. I think I know what it might be. I think it's my noise gate. I think that's what it is. Let me move it up a little bit. Is that better? Be better now. Have the noise gate on. Cutting out a bit. How so? Hold on. He's starting to make me anxious. Alright, testing, testing, testing. Is that better? Hold on. See, I get crackling in the voice when I don't have the noise gate on. Just leave it like that for now, I guess. Oh, let's see, what now? Oh. Yeah, Indivisible's not a bad game at all. It's not what they said it would be, and there seem to be a number of reasons for that. The first was like publisher meddling, and the other was Mike Z secretly a douchebag behind closed doors. Considering that nobody else has tried to make a Valkyrie profile clone, I actually thought it was pretty good. In some ways, the battle system is better, but the balancing in the later half, at least when I played the game at launch, was terrible. It's also like barely an RPG. It's almost completely linear. That's another thing people didn't like about it. There's no gear. The game is relatively short, so a lot of the characters, you never really get to play as them. And I mean, that's not a bad thing for some people. Some people don't like 80-hour long JRPGs, which is why, like, Persona is so niche. Because it's like 80 hours. Indivisible you can finish in a couple sittings. Yeah, you know, I haven't played Mayhem in a while. Well, actually, I played it like last week, but I was in the beta branch, so I couldn't like show it to anybody. I couldn't tell anybody about it. I'm surprised at how much I liked that game, because I played the demo for Mayhem Brawler and I hated it. Like, this game is boring. It's interesting how much they made it better. Could tell like they knew like how to they knew how to make a beat 'em up. They just didn't know how to make one that didn't feel stale. I think that was like the only problem with that game. Character feels great to control. Yeah, sure, I'll play that. I'll take the request. Sure. Yeah, I hated the demo. I thought it was boring, but now it's like one of my most played games. You know what else I like about this game? Is the people in the beta testing were complaining about like the game is too easy. And Sirkin was like, we're not going to balance the game around you guys. Which I love, because I hate when they do that. I hate when games do that. It's like, okay, you're balancing around try-hard chads, myself included. Cyborgs and shit that have been playing these games for decades. But it's like, the other 99% of the people playing are never going to do those things. Don't take the fun out of the game just because a small, very small percentage of people know how to break it. I really like their philosophy. He just straight up said, like, no, we're not going to balance the game around you guys. Which is very common mistake. I hate when games do that. It's like, okay, someone found something cool and busted in your game. We're just going to take it out. And it's like, why? And make the game worse. And like, such a small percentage of people are ever going to do those things or care about them or even know they exist. Like, just let it rock. Just let it rock. I think that's why I like Battle for the Grid so much. That game is very much like, you know, if it's too stupid, they'll take it out. You know, that game has had like 2-button infinites in the past. Like, they don't want you to do that. But for the most part, they don't really remove the fun from the game, which is a problem in all kinds of genres right now. I should message him and tell him that I was very pleased with that. I think some people forget that, like, not everybody is a sweaty cyborg gamer like I am. Especially for stuff like this, where even knowing how to play it at all is kind of a lost art just by proxy of there not being a whole lot of games like this until recently. There's been a lot of beat-em-ups lately, for better or for worse, but it's not something that people just kind of know how to play right away. Like, you know, first-person shooter or a racing game or something. Tap target MMO, like, your average person's gonna know how to play those. This? No. Remember when someone got DMC 5 early and people were complaining? The guy was like, you could tell he'd played the games before, but he never cared about, like, you know, doing the super crazy stuff. All he was doing was just mashing Stinger and people were complaining. I'm like, well, this is... You're getting a glimpse of, like, what the average person looks like playing these games. I told people this with Elden Ring, too, like... The people that get the game early are gonna suck at it, because... Anybody who actually cares about building a following is not gonna stream that game early, because they're gonna get banned. So what's left? Random people that got it from a mom-and-pop store early. Like, you're not gonna get quality gameplay from randos. Anybody who you would want to watch play it is not gonna risk their livelihood to stream it. Playing really bad right now. I think she's okay, but I'm not very good with her. This is bad by my standards. I can 1cc this game. 1cc, no miss this game. And have like 9 lives at the end. I'm playing pretty bad. Yeah, the OTG is fun. terrible fight. Oh, nice! Didn't want to break there, but it's alright. I haven't played this in like a week. It's pretty bad gameplay, though. What is with this gameplay tonight? I, like, can't play this today. Terrible gameplay. Ah! This fucking gun guy ruined everything. I would not mind if they were removed. I hate them. Bitch. Bad fight. Gun guy spawned at like... Those guys are like reverse stormtroopers. They really are. They're like if stormtroopers could actually hit something. That's what they are. They're always... The AI on them is very impressive. As much as I hate them, it's very impressive how they can... They can always be at like the perfect distance. You like can't ignore them. I really like how the enemies in this game have like one thing that they excel at, but they're usually pretty free to anything else. I think that's a cool way to design it. Instead of like usually what happens where the enemies are just like they block like so many of the game mechanics. That doesn't happen in this game. It's usually just like one. Like the rats, you can't throw them. Okay, just go through the throw. That was uncharacteristic jank for this game. I'm pretty sure that throw hitbox was right near him. I call bullshit on that one, I'm sorry. That should not have happened. Good fight. Gameplay quality is improving. I handled that pretty well. I could have gone south really fast, but still on a no-miss run here. Ooh, great fight! Great fight. Great fight. Nice. There you are, Din. Oh! Fucking gun guy, man. The worst enemies in every game. So irritating. Die. Fuck, man. Oh well. That gun guy completely ruined that fight, but that's a casual no miss. I'll take it. Decent gameplay, not the best. Yeah, they have immaculate AI, that's for sure. The guys that just stand back and shoot are insufferable in every video game. I think the eternal shit list for video game enemies is bats, bugs, spiders, birds, and gun guys. In no particular order, but they're usually the worst in every game. Bats, bugs, spiders, birds, and gun guys. Or anything that inflicts a status ailment that like sucks the fun out of the game. Those are like that's my eternal shit list since I've been a kid. Growing up with stuff like the Ninja Gaiden birds. The modern Ninja Gaiden games too, where they like shoot you with incendiary shurikens from like the other side of the map. Like yeah. I think Assault Spy really broke some traditions because you can just teleport up to the end. That game is really interestingly designed because most of the enemies are gun guys, but when you get next to them, they're defenseless. But the way that game works is you have to constantly manage when they're shooting. It's just that they give you a lot more tools to deal with enemies spamming projectiles than most games. I mean, when they pulled that shit in Ninja Gaiden, you couldn't do anything about it at all. Assault Spy, this game right here. Hold on. Masterpiece video game. Yeah, that game it's a good example of indies knowing how to do it better than the big guys. Because it was made by one guy, so you know, he doesn't have the money to put a bunch of useless shit in there like puzzles and unskippable cutscenes and like all that crap. It's pretty much just quick short playthrough. I feel like that and DMC5 are like the best character action games in my opinion because they have no gimmicks. There is one gimmick in Assault Spy, which is the stealth section, but you literally only have to do it once. Because I was in the beta and I told him like, you know, if I have to do this every single time I play this game, I'm gonna stop playing it. And he was like, oh yeah. So he added a shortcut. Like, I have not done that stealth mission in like 4 years. It's just a very to the point game. If you want like big set pieces and like dynamic cutscenes and stuff, it's not going to deliver. But in terms of like, you know, actually playing the damn game, which I mean, it should be the meat of any action game, and it really delivers. It manages to have a really good presentation despite having really amateurish looking visuals too. Does a lot of things right. I think I haven't really played a character action game since then that's been that just focused and distilled. I think that's what I really like about it. So every character action game has some like really shit part where it's like you get to that part and you just don't want to play it anymore. I think he did a really good job of like making the game replayable and keep coming back to it. I'll need to do an extreme mode playthrough of that. I don't know when I'll have time, because like next month there's so many games coming out, but I'm definitely going to look into that. This looks great. I think this was announced like last year. I haven't seen much on it. Oh, because it begins on the 8th. Wow. Huh. Wonder if they have a PR email. We'll have to see. Next month's going to be a really expensive month to run this channel, so I'm looking at whatever way I can to save money. Who's going to buy this? Who wants to play this game again? Isn't this that company that just like takes like old ass games that like from long defunct companies and they get the rights somehow, but they're like in a really shitty emulator? And like the people that made the game don't make any money, so I don't know, at this point you might as well just download the ROM. I'd be all for this if the people that made it got the money, but that's obviously not happening. These guys put up a ton of these old games. Most of them are like games nobody would ever want to play, like Super 3D Noah's Ark, freaking 8 Eyes. Well, Nightshade's a good game. The Gourmet Sentai Darandarn, or whatever it's called. The Water Margin. The Gourmet Sentai's decent. Yeah, these are basically just games that like nobody's cared for. I mean, they must make some money. They keep spamming their games on Steam. Somebody must be buying them. And if you're not going to give me a better experience than just playing it on the emulator, I'm not going to buy it. You know, I like this game. I like this game, but it had like no replay value, and it was on Stadia. It's on Stadia exclusive for all things, so I bought it on there. I actually like the story. The gameplay was not balanced very well. The beginning of the game is like balls hard. There was like one like gatekeeper boss, and then like past that point, the game was too easy. Just didn't have any replay value at all. And the fact that it was on Stadia, I had the game crash and freeze on me numerous times. It really ruined the experience for me. I think anybody that still defends Stadia, I think, could go back and watch me play through this game, because I have it all. I have most of my gameplay for this on here. The Stadia exclusivity, it made nobody cared about the game. It looked nice. The gameplay was decent. It had some problems with it. Mostly the stuff in the accessibility options made the game a lot more fun. Being able to guard cancel and stuff, the game felt awful with it off. I turned that on instantly and the game became really fun to play. It had too many items. And the game is not long enough to really use any of them. I felt like I tried to change my build towards the end, but I found stuff that just it killed every boss pretty quickly, and there was no more game left. The RPG balancing was pretty bad. Visually and narratively, the game is great. I actually really like the story in this game. What little of it I read. It's basically just about kids that like they have really fucked up childhoods, and they just don't know how to do right things, but they kind of find their own way, and what they end up doing ends up being the right thing. I actually really like that, but gameplay wise, the balancing was jacked up, and there was no replay value at all. I don't know if they've added anything to it. That was back in like September or something. I played through this game. But yeah, playing it on the Stadia made it way worse. The problem with Stadia is the games are like full priced and they're a worse experience. The only real benefit to it is the fact that you don't have to buy a PC to play them. You can play them on the phone. But I played through that game in its entirety, and I streamed like maybe 75 to 80% of it. You can go back and watch those videos. This game crashed constantly and froze. It just made it a really shitty experience. I still like the game enough to finish it, but man, I could not imagine playing like something longer. I mean, the game was only a couple hours long. But it's not really like an arcade beat 'em up. That they tried to put like a lot of RPG stuff in it, and it's just not very well balanced. There's not enough time to use like any of the stuff that they put in there. You're pretty much going to stick to one build because the game is like not long enough. It doesn't really have any kind of replay systems. I'm excited for this. It's just they put out some gameplay of this like last week, and I saw the boss like not stagger to any attacks at all. And that was kind of a big turnoff for me. But who knows how it'll be. Yeah, this game looks sick. I don't know, you know how it is though. Can't watch beat 'em up gameplay because they never get anybody who fucking knows how to play. There's probably some way to stagger the bosses. I would hope there is. I think I still have their press email from back when River City Girls came out, so we'll have to get on that. They don't have a release date. Looking like it's going to be the 15th, according to where it is on here. Sometimes you can tell when a game is going to come out, even though they don't say it. Like, all these games are coming out on the 15th, and this is in the middle, so I assume it's going to be in a couple weeks. I don't know, skeletal animation is a really hard sell for me. I feel like it almost always makes a game look really cheap. Um, like that game you posted in the Discord, that mobile beat 'em up. That game looks mechanically pretty solid, but that art style is terrible. It looks like a cheap Flash game. Yeah, I think I'm about to hop off too, actually. It's like 2 in the morning. Should see you guys probably usual stream times. Good night. We'll play Dust Diver 2 later. I already played it for like an hour and a half earlier. Should be able to play it more later. See ya.